This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. On the third day of my business trip, my wife Hailey sent a message. Ugh, they made me go out and vacuum again today. A moment later the message was retracted, staring at the endless green grass. As an educated man, I must never resort to violence. The screenshot key is faster than my brain's reaction. The dialog box repeatedly bounces with, "The other party is typing," but what ultimately pops up is a cutesy cat sticker. "Honey, are you done with work?" I loosen my collar. Waiting 3 minutes before replying, "Still busy." "What did you just recall?" She directly calls, and I instinctively answer, "Honey, I typed the wrong word. I didn't want you to think I'm silly." As her sweet voice flows through my headphones, I'm repeatedly zooming in on that screenshot. Every pixel mocks me. The chat background is still the version drawing she made for us last year. "Honey, how much longer will you be on this business trip?" Her voice carries a teasing quiver. "I miss you. It's so lonely here without you." Listening to her fabricated sweet talk, I swallow hard against the taste of rust. Outside, the torrential rain pounds against the glass. Taking a deep breath, I say, "I'll let you know before I get back." On the line, I hear Hailey softly exhale. Then in a relaxed tone, she replies, "I'll wait for you, honey." After hanging up the phone, I quickly spiral into a whirlwind of thoughts. Both Hailey and I are highly educated individuals. Our work is typically serious. We don't usually speak that way to each other. I'm convinced Hailey is cheating. My eyes linger on the word again. Ugh, someone made me go out without protection again today. I'm sure I've been betrayed, and it's not just once. My face pales instantly. I can't fathom who that poised and virtuous wife could have strayed with. Hailey is a university professor. As a teacher, she always presents herself elegantly. How could she possibly leave home inappropriately dressed? Calculating the time, I realize today is Saturday, and tomorrow is still the weekend. As a programmer, I immediately made a meticulous deduction and began to act. I opened my computer and worked all night. The next day, I called in sick to the company and took the earliest flight back to New York. When I got off the plane and opened my phone, the location app showed my wife Hailey in Central Park. Suddenly, everything before me turned dark and I felt a surge of blood. Central Park is famously known as a romantic hotspot. It is said that every day, the cleaning crew has to clear out numerous used condoms. Even the cleaning ladies can't help but curse endlessly about the mess. I scanned the QR code and hopped on a shared bike. Racing towards Central Park, I tossed the bike aside and tracked Hailey's location. In a corner of the park under a pine tree, I beheld a shocking and unsightly scene. Hailey was wearing a seductive low-cut dress. The hem revealed white lace trim. The neckline plunged to her chest. It was clear she was not wearing anything underneath. A man was holding her tightly, passionately kissing her, while Hailey moved her body into him. "You're so annoying, last time you left me all bruised," she exclaimed, making me feel utterly sick. How could Hailey utter such filthy words? The two seemed very familiar, and I realized this green hat might have been worn for quite some time. I was just about to rush out and beat the adulterer, but I held myself back. Haha, I'm an educated man. I can't resort to crude methods. I took out my phone and messaged Hailey. "Hey, what are you up to?" The vibration of the phone startled Hailey, who was indulging in forbidden fruit. Instinctively, she glanced at her phone. Seeing it was me, she loosened her grip around the man's neck. She quickly responded, "Are you back from your business trip?" In the past, she would have asked me if I was eating well and sleeping well. Now she only wants to know when I'll be back. I really am slow to realize things. I can't even remember when she started changing. "Not yet, it's cool today, wear more clothes and take care of yourself." Hailey was suddenly startled. It was as if she sensed my presence, nervously looking around. "Oh, the weather here, it's pretty nice. I'm just strolling in the park." Hailey sent a few more messages. The man next to her, consumed by desire, couldn't hold back any longer. He lunged at her again, wrapping his arms around her. Hailey's delicate shoulders slipped out of her strap. It seemed he wanted to completely free Hailey from her clothing. Hailey instinctively pushed him away. "Tony, this place, it's not right, it's a bit cold." "Cold? How can it be cold? I'm burning up." The man wore a wicked smile, his hands indecently roaming up and down. Just as Hailey's eyes began to drift closed, she suddenly snapped awake and forcefully broke free. "That's enough, let's move somewhere else." Seeing this scene, the ice in my heart suddenly felt a bit of warmth. Perhaps Hailey was just momentarily confused. "What's wrong being with me makes you think of that guy back home?" The man named Tony shifted his position, and I finally got a good look at his face. He wasn't particularly handsome, but his physique was impressive with abs clearly defined. Hailey remained silent, pulling up her strap. "Hailey, to be honest, honest, every time I'm with your husband, it feels like I'm with a corpse. Being with you is much more exciting. I like the way you are unadorned," Tony said as he hugged Hailey from behind, giving her rear a hard slap. "I see your husband is just a piece of pork. Is he stronger than me?" Hailey frowned. "Don't say that. He's actually quite nice." "So, does that mean you still have passion with him?" "How can that be compared? You're a gym teacher. Do you like him more, or do you like me more?" As Tony spoke, he gently kissed Hailey's earlobe. A blush washed over Hailey's face. "You are better, alright, he doesn't have your flair." Hailey turned her neck and kissed him back. Seeing the dazed expression on Hailey's face, I knew we couldn't go back. I recalled that saying, "An affair only happens once or countless times." It was time to say goodbye to our past, even though I had suspected it long ago. Now the truth was laid bare before me, still suffocating to the point it was hard to breathe. When we were in love, she was a pure goddess in my heart. She had once sworn that she would save her most precious first time for our wedding night. This traditional femininity made me feel like I had found a treasure. The allure of a highly educated woman had me utterly captivated. After marriage, every time we were together, I was careful and gentle respecting her. Little did I expect that while she appeared pure before me, she was climbing into another man's bed behind my back, showing off her chest and swaying her hips. My respectful wife. In someone else's embrace, she acted like a seasoned mistress, toying with him as she pleased. I was truly a fool, unable to see Hailey's true nature. Damn it, we could never go back. This marriage had to end. I staggered away, boarding the flight back to my work destination, as if I knew nothing at all. I heard that the guy named Tony is a gym teacher. Most likely he works at her school. Using my hacking skills, I accessed Hailey's school website and found his information. Tony, the gym teacher, teaches the same class as Hailey, from 7th grade to 9th grade. That means they've been dating for 3 years. I've only been with Hailey for 5 years, and we've only been married for 2. Thinking about their smooth moves in the park, I'm sure it's not just once. Feeling this way, I shook in anger. What a pair of adulterers, with no intention of stopping. I directly hacked their chat application, exposing all their messages. The content was shocking beyond belief. I copied all the evidence to a USB drive and collapsed onto the sofa. Since we got married, Hailey and I had treated each other with respect, and I thought we could grow old together. But unexpectedly, looking back, Hailey's changes were traceable. After marriage, Hailey had many new bags and cosmetics, all gifts from that scoundrel. Moreover, every summer, Hailey often went out under the pretense of tutoring students. The country had long banned cram schools, and she used this as an excuse to meet the scoundrel in hotel rooms. No wonder she complained of back pain after coming home. I even felt sorry for her, cooking her chicken soup to nourish her. I thought she was tired from teaching, but she was using me to have fun. Hailey, if you think you can play me for a fool, then don't blame me for being ruthless. 3 days later, after returning from a business trip, Hailey had dinner ready at home waiting for me. Hailey put on the stockings, and the lace on her chest was faintly visible, full of temptation. The moment they met, they couldn't wait to throw themselves into each other's arms, kissing wildly, then tumbling onto the bed. I saw everything clearly. Through the camera, I immediately sent the monitoring link, along with the password, to Tony's wife. With that link, she could log in and watch too. "Do you know your husband is cheating on you? I really feel sorry for you." As expected, Tony's wife called right away. She must have wanted to ask who I was. Of course I wouldn't answer. Instead, I replied through software. Instead of doubting, "Why not just watch? I am the Justice Knight." Hailey put on her stockings, the lace at her chest subtly revealing an alluring charm. As soon as the two met, they couldn't wait to embrace and kiss passionately. Before rolling onto the bed, I was watching all of this through the camera, clearly witnessing every moment. I quickly sent the surveillance link and password to Tony's wife. With the link, she could log in and watch. "Did you know your husband is cheating on you? I truly feel for you." As expected, Tony's wife's phone call came immediately. She must have wanted to ask me who I was. Of course I didn't answer. Instead, I replied through a messaging app, rather than questioning. "Why not watch? I am the avenger of justice." After taking care of all this, I turned off the chat software, poured myself a cup of coffee, and quietly enjoyed the tranquility before the storm. In the surveillance footage, Tony was sweating profusely when he received a phone call. Then Tony scrambled out of bed in a rush. Hailey was startled by the sudden scene, staring at Tony in confusion. No matter how desperately she shouted, Tony still burst out the door. On the bed, Hailey bit her teeth in frustration, feeling quite displeased. Just when she was at a loss, I gently made the call. "Darling, the project ended early. I'll be home soon." Hailey hurriedly got out of bed, cleaning up the mess, completely losing her usual grace. I returned home, and she opened the door listlessly. "Darling, I brought back some premium Australian abalone." Hailey's eyes no longer shone like they used to, as she buried herself in her phone and went into the bedroom. I guess she must be questioning Tony about what had happened. Actually, I didn't need to guess. I could just check the records after she fell asleep. "Tony, are you trying to ruin me?" "Hailey, what are you talking about, Tony? Aren't you supposed to apologize to me?" "Tony, Hailey, I never thought you were this kind of person. Do you dare say you didn't leak it. Hailey, aren't you getting a divorce from your wife? What are you afraid of? Tony, Hailey, if you keep playing with me, we'll both be in trouble. The lovers caught in an affair were completely torn apart. In the end, no one knew who had leaked their whereabouts. Hailey's temper had been as volatile these days as it was during her period. She kept complaining to me nonstop. It was either about how poorly the food was cooked or how the floor wasn't cleaned properly. Even the death of 2 goldfish made her vent her frustrations on me. I was just aimlessly wandering around, instead of going on business trips or working late. Seeing Hailey turn into a resentful wife, I felt a twisted pleasure in my revenge. This was just the beginning. Hailey, just wait for my wrath of revenge. My aloof attitude only fueled her anger even more. What else can you do besides staring at your computer? Haven't you done any of your assignments these days? I smirked slightly, presenting her the nutritious soup I had prepared. To calm her down. For days, Hailey's messages to Tony went unanswered. What she couldn't get from Tony, she thought she could get from me. But not a chance. This was the fate of a cheater. I continued typing on my keyboard, and Hailey lunged at me, trying to shut my computer. Don't you dare stir up trouble. I pushed her away, forcefully glaring at her furiously. Since we got married, I had always treated her like a treasure, never raising my voice at her. In her world, I was someone she could easily manipulate. This time my reaction clearly surpassed her expectations, and her proud foundation began to crumble. She stared at me in shock. You're scolding me. You actually dare to scold me. I not only wanted to scold her, I wanted to hit her too. But right now the time wasn't right. Hailey, look at you now. You've become like a bitter woman. Where's the elegant teacher I once knew? You used to carry yourself with grace. How did you become so unbearable? In reality, a woman's grace and elegance are often built upon the love of her husband. A woman who doesn't handle household chores can maintain her fair skin. A woman cherished by her husband radiates an otherworldly beauty like a fairy. When I lavish affection on you, you become a swan. When I step on you, you can only be an ugly duckling. This truth eludes her, so she never learns to appreciate it. Hailey has lost Tony Chun, and without finding psychological satisfaction here, she has begun to spiral into madness. Life can be lived, but it can't be lived in separation. Taking advantage of this moment, I slipped into the study with my notebook. Regardless of her nonsensical chatter, everything proceeds according to my set plan. This plan is the fastest and most effective means of revenge. Hailey, don't you realize you've become a different person who lowered your standards? When you get angry, you're like a shrew. It's really hard to watch. What? How dare you say that to me? Hailey had always been treated like a queen by me, only hearing praise from my lips. Now the contrast was stark. Her self-confidence took a hard hit, and she unconsciously became agitated. She was slamming things around outside, shattering a whole set of teaware. I simply closed the door, and all the hurt bounced back at her. Rocky, I'm leaving. You can manage on your own. Don't even think about begging me to come back. Bang! The door trembled fiercely. My wife had left home. Where could she go? Most likely she returned to her parents' house. But could that family of vampires really accommodate her just lounging around? It wouldn't be long before someone came to plead with me. Today felt great. It was as if the house was finally clean. So I decided not to work late and rewarded myself a little. I bought a few small dishes, drank a couple of shots of liquor, and fell into a deep and solid sleep. Sure enough, there was chaos over at her family's place. My father-in-law pointed at Hailey's nose and shouted, "Are you just bored trying to compete with Rocky?" "Yeah, Hailey, Rocky says he makes over $1 million a year. Why can't you just enjoy life?" My mother-in-law chimed in. "Money, money, money. All you think about is money. You guys are so superficial." Hailey stubbornly covered her ears. She used to be pampered when she returned to her family. Smack! My father-in-law stepped forward and gave her a sharp slap. "You hit me." Hailey looked at her father in disbelief. "Hitting you, that's too lenient without Rocky. You're nothing in this family." My brother-in-law Jack tilted his head, looking quite unhappy. "Sis, brother-in-law is our family's treasure, and I'm getting married soon. I used to love Hailey, and I fulfilled every request from her family unconditionally." Originally, Jack planned to marry by the end of the year. His partner wanted a dowry of $500,000, and I agreed to give the amount right away. But now that Hailey was at odds with me, her family couldn't come up with the dowry. Without the dowry, Jack would remain single. This was a serious blow to my in-laws, which was why they were so furious. "Hailey, I'm telling you, tomorrow, I'm inviting Rocky over for dinner. You better make sure to appease him. If you fail, there will be no place for you in this family." In the end, my father-in-law issued the final ultimatum on behalf of the family, but they were mistaken. Once I learned about Hailey's infidelity, there was no way I would hand over that money. The next day, I received a call from my mother-in-law. She said she had prepared a nice dinner for me that evening, and I quickly accepted. Not to mention my mother-in-law's cooking is quite good, and who would pass up a free meal? Of course, I also knew this was a trap. They wanted money. As I drove over that night, I noticed Hailey had a slap mark on her face. However, she was dressed quite beautifully. Her outfit elegant, yet subtly sexy, which which suited my taste, but it was clear she was forced into this. Her proud expression was waiting for me to back down. After a few rounds of drinks, my father-in-law spoke up directly. Rocky, Jack is getting married, and you need to provide a bride price of $500,000. I didn't hold back and made my decision. Jack is a good kid. I'll give $500,000. No, I'll offer $600,000 plus a car worth $200,000. What brother-in-law, you are also going to give me a car? Rocky, are you serious? The whole family was stunned. They were previously worried that our argument might affect the bride price. I took a sip of my drink, enjoying the moment. Of course, my word is my bond. Hailey is my wife. We are one family. No need for separation between our two families. Look at how exceptional Jack is. She is worth this amount. This made my in-laws extremely happy, and they eagerly toasted to me. After eating and drinking, I stood up to leave, but my father-in-law stopped me. Good son-in-law, why don't you and Hailey stay here tonight? I shook my head to refuse. Dad, Hailey and I had a fight. I want her to stay here for a couple of days. Once things calm down, we will go back. I've called a designated driver. Amidst the praises from my in-laws, I got into my car and drove away. In the dim night, I caught a glimpse of the wrinkles on my mother-in-law's face, stretching into a smile through the rearview mirror. Such a good son-in-law, so easy to manage. Hailey, hurry up and order a taxi back. You must take good care of Rocky. Easy to manage. More like easy to deceive, right? A smirk curled at the corners of my mouth, revealing a hint of cold laughter. Hailey rolled her eyes, feeling that I had once again bowed down to her, remaining the proud princess she was. I won't unless he kneels down and begs me. Get lost. A married daughter is like spilled water. There's no place for you here. My father-in-law came in and tossed her suitcase out. Everything unfolded as I had anticipated. With Hailey's proud nature, she certainly wouldn't come home to find me. She had only one destination, Tony. Indeed, through the chat history, I discovered they had reconciled and their feelings had reignited. The surveillance footage was unclear, but Tony, with his silver tongue, had deceived his wife, claiming someone had set him up. So with the storm past, he felt invincible again. Just earlier at my father-in-law's house, I had placed a locator in her bag. With my technological advantage, I would soon be able to find them, caught red-handed with overwhelming evidence. This time I would give them a high-definition view. They wouldn't have anything to say afterward. Galaxy Hotel, let's go. With a command, the chauffeur drove the car out, speeding towards the hotel. 20 minutes later, I arrived at the DAE building, opened the signal source search, and locked onto the room. Young man, help me break down the door, and I'll pay you more. I took out 2 bills in front of the designated driver. The driver looked excited and immediately refused. This kind of thrilling job shouldn't take your money, big brother. Bang! The door was kicked open forcefully. Tony stood there wrapped in a white towel, sweat dripping from his body, clearly fresh from a workout. A wicked smile curled at the corner of my mouth. I had been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. I swung my fist and landed it squarely on his nose, blood splattering everywhere. He was a gym teacher and I couldn't match his strength, but I had backup. The designated driver rubbed his hands together. Brother, do you need some help? Deal with him. If he dies, I'll take the blame. As I spoke, I started launching another series of punches. My initial assault was fierce, but Tony, being well-built, quickly got back to his senses. Fuck you, who the hell are you? Disregarding his injury, Tony prepared to fight back. Just then a heavy blow landed on his head. The designated driver's stick rained down on him, leaving him unable to get back up. At that moment, Hailey, hearing the commotion, walked out of the washroom with a shriek. What are you doing to him? When she saw my face, her jaw dropped. Didn't you go home? What are you doing here? What do you think? Am I ruining your little escapade? Hailey stomped her foot and turned to shield Tony. Why are you still hitting him? We just took a shower. We did nothing. The forcefulness in Hailey's tone made it seem like I was the one at fault. Hailey, before we got married, when I suggested we shower together, what did you say? You said that having a bath together was like a romantic couple bath. How beautiful it was. It should only happen after marriage. Now you're here showering with a scumbag. Are you a pair of wild ducks? Truly fitting for a language teacher. Rocky, stop with the sarcasm. If you truly cared about me, would I need to look for someone else? Women cheat because men aren't good enough. I was laughing out of anger. You're even bolder than boldness. You're simply lewd. Ask your conscience for these past years. I've held you in my hands, afraid you'd fall, and cherished you as if you might melt. Are you heartless? I've done so much for you, and what has he, that scumbag, ever done for you? I completely lost control and roared in anger. Hailey twisted her neck, wearing a face full of pride. You say Tony, he's better looking than you, younger than you, more manly than you. He's got more passion in bed than you do. Do you even know what an orgasm is? Shameless. We've been together for 2 years. Does that not count for anything compared to an outsider? I bit my teeth, my expression pained. Hailey laughed, smugly forgetting herself. Speaking of time, I've been with Tony for 3 years. If he weren't married, I'd still be with him. You're just a failed backup. Alright, I let out a long howl, turning to the designated driver guy. Did you record everything? Bro, it's all good. Scum like this should be paraded in public. Want me to post it online? Hailey and Tony's faces turned pale simultaneously. They were both teachers, especially Tony, who had an official position. If this got out, he would lose his job. Hailey, feeling reckless, decided to lash out. If this gets out, it'll be you who looks bad. Plus, I'm just a temporary worker, I can quit. But Tony was panicking, hurriedly pulling on his pants and running up to me. Buddy, it's just one woman. Name your price, I'll make it right. Make it right. I snorted disdainfully. That's not out of the question. Tony sighed in relief. So what do you want? I smiled. Given the circumstances, I want to hit that shameless Hailey. But I don't want to get my hands dirty. If you help me slap her a few times, we'll call this even. Rocky, I never expected you to be so pathetic and repulsive. Like an old woman sipping thin porridge against the wall. Don't think you can threaten us like this. I'm in love with Tony. He would never betray me. But before Hailey could finish her words, she received a heavy slap across her face. Before she could react, Tony asked, "Bro, how many slaps in total?" I stared coldly at Hailey, gritting my teeth, spitting out each word. "However many times you've done it, that's how many slaps. If you can't remember clearly, then smash that face of hers." "No, not that many. At most a dozen times." Tony shook his head, quickly explaining, "What a disgusting pair of scum." I slowly closed my eyes. "Hailey, look at me. I bestow upon you a beating hitter. Use all the strength of your PE teacher." Slap, slap, slap. The deafening sounds of slaps landed on Hailey's fair face. Tony struck with precision, trying to save his job. A piercing scream filled the air. Hailey, disheveled, fell to the ground. "Tony, how dare you hit me? Rocky would never dare to hit me." I saw Hailey, now hysterical, losing her graceful demeanor, and a surge of vengeful pleasure arose within me. "Hailey, I'm not hitting you because I can't, but because I love you. Right now, you deserve this. Rocky, I'll fight you." Hailey lunged at me, claws bared, but behind her, Tony grabbed her hair and dragged her back. "You crazy woman, you've been seducing me the whole time, insisting that I come to the hotel, otherwise how could this happen? I think you just want to ruin me. Get lost." Without hesitation, Tony kicked Hailey in the stomach. She curled up on the ground, clutching her belly in pain. Tony didn't even glance at her, turning to me with a smile. "Dude, we're square." Square? The corners of my mouth lifted slightly. Tony grew tense. "Are you thinking of going back on this?" "Well, we're square now. From here on out, it's about how others settle accounts with you." "Others?" Tony's body trembled, his face turning a sickly purple. At that moment, Hailey leaped up and jumped onto Tony's neck. "Tony, you bastard, I'm going all out with you." Her sharp nails tore into Tony's face, leaving bloody marks. Such a loss of decorum. I let out a breath, turning around with the designated driver and stepping outside. "Brother, you really save face for all men. Isn't it too easy to just let them go?" "Let them go? Did you record it just now?" The designated driver nodded. "Guaranteed full audio and video recording. Don't delete the first half. Only keep the second half." The designated driver looked confused, while I picked up my phone and dialed 110. "Hello, is this Uncle Hat? There was a violent incident in the hotel. A man hitting a woman. There's blood everywhere." "What, a man hitting a woman? It could be fatal. Where are you?" "Give me your exact location." "Dabadon Road, Galaxy Hotel, hurry up." The designated driver gave me a thumbs up, his eyes filled with admiration. "Bro, you're amazing. But the first half of the video has intimate scenes. Why don't you send a copy to that scumbag's wife?" I smiled. "This scumbag has a pretty good mouth. His wife has been taken in by him long ago. Don't we have the video? If it's too clear, we can't use it. That would be illegal. If it's unclear, he'll just argue about it. So let's post something on the forum. Just say a couple fought each other in a hotel, full HD. Nice, so what now? Just wait and see." 10 minutes later, the police arrived at the scene. Filled with resentment, Hailey insisted that Tony had broken into rob and assault her. This was a serious crime, and the police took both bloodied individuals to the station. Naturally, under Uncle Hat's interrogation, the truth came to light. It turned out to be a bloody incident triggered by two mistresses booking a hotel room. Tony paid a fine and was bailed out by his wife, but he received a beating in return. It was said that the next day, Tony's head was wrapped in bandages resembling a mummy. Hailey, on the other hand, was bailed out by her father, but her outcome was even worse than Tony's. Hailey had cheated. She lost her brother's wedding deposit and was severely beaten by her father-in-law. It was rumored that her head was bleeding, and she ultimately escaped to a hotel to hide. As a result, she once again caught the police's attention. Hailey lost too much blood and fainted because she had a miscarriage. The child wasn't mine. There was blood everywhere. It seemed as though she was trying to bleed out all the dirty blood. In the end, she had no choice but to undergo a hysterectomy, and she could never be a mother again. On the other side, a blurry half video went viral online, and Sharpie viewers quickly uncovered the identities and the truth about the two. The result was that Tony was dismissed from school for his misconduct, while Hailey, the temp worker, faced no consequences. Though her colleagues did whisper about her, I felt completely relaxed and enjoyed a good night's sleep. Now all that's left between Hailey and me is a divorce certificate, and from then on we would have no more connections. One night 3 months later, I received a message from Hailey. "Rocky, don't get too smug. To be honest, Tony has already agreed to be with me. Get the paperwork ready. We're going to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get divorced. You are the most pathetic man man in the world. Even if you get divorced, you have to share half of your assets with me. She was still trying to show off, still threatening me, truly incorrigible. She cheated first, and now she wants half of my property. What was she thinking? Fine, no problem. You pick the day and I'll be there. After sending that message, I immediately forwarded it to Alice. Alice is Tony's wife. We became friends and chat often. Actually, Alice is a very capable woman and the director of a beauty salon. All of Tony's good life is provided by Alice. Of course, Alice is strong-willed, and Tony's position is akin to that of a kept man. I simply don't believe that Tony would choose a hard life with Hailey over having a wealthy partner like Alice. Hailey is now a clean slate, no home, no job, no income. Who would want Hailey in such a state? That foolish woman still has a romantic mindset. Hailey, at this point, you're still fixated on my assets. Just wait for karma to catch up with you. When are you two going to handle the divorce paperwork? Alice quickly replied, I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. I replied, I finished washing up and was getting ready to go fishing. At that moment, my mother-in-law called. I hesitated for a moment, but decided to answer. Auntie, is there something you need? Rocky, why are you calling me auntie? You and Hailey aren't divorced yet. You should call me mom. Annie, please don't say that. I'm not worthy of your daughter. Rocky, no matter what happens between you and Hailey, your dad and I have always treated you well. I smiled bitterly. That's true. Hearing me relax, my mother-in-law seemed very excited. Rocky, does what you said still count? Jack is getting married soon. Congratulations. Then we don't need the car anymore, and we don't want $60,000. Just give us $50,000. I found it utterly ridiculous and couldn't help but smile. Mom, the reason I made the promise was that I love Hailey. She is my wife. But now she cheated first, and we are getting a divorce. Who do you think you were to ask for $60,000? At that moment, there was a commotion on the other end. And finally, my father-in-law spoke. Rocky, don't think we don't understand the law. Half of the money you've saved over the years belongs to Hailey. Asking you for $50,000 is perfectly reasonable. Legal illiterates get lost. Your son will be single for the rest of his life. After hanging up, a smug smile appeared on my face. I had mentioned $60,000 and a car, and then Jack informed his girlfriend. The next day, they went to take out a loan to buy a car and a house, with monthly repayments exceeding $10,000. Not only could they not get married, but Jack would also become a slave to the house and the car for life. Based on his earning ability, I estimated that his house would likely be repossessed by the bank within 6 months. They would all end up in poverty. Today is the day I divorce Hailey. After a chaotic half a year, the court ruled that Hailey would leave with nothing. We met in the hall of the Civil Affairs Bureau, and she had lost her former luster. Not only did she have dark circles under her eyes, but her complexion had also become dull. The only thing that remained unchanged was her stubbornness. She signed the divorce papers without hesitation, standing at the door gazing into the distance. Rocky, I finally rid myself of you, the worst man in the world. Soon Tony will come to pick me up. I was dressed in Arc'teryx clothes, wearing Adidas shoes, feeling invigorated as if I had aged backwards by several years. All the money I used to spend on cosmetics for Hailey, I now spent on myself. Moreover, I had also reduced my overtime, and I could still support myself without it. Hailey, you might want to stop dreaming. Tony has gone abroad with Alice. I suggest you. Impossible. Hailey interrupted my words hysterically. Tony would never abandon me. How could he possibly like that old woman? Old. I pulled out a photo of Alice to show her. A posting from Alice's social media, indicating their location in Thailand. In the photo, Alice looked confident and graceful, her skin flawless. No, this can't be. Tony said his wife is just an old hag. He likes me. I remained silent, opening the mirror on my phone and directing it at Hailey. An aging face reflected back. Exactly who is the old hag? No, no. Hailey screamed hysterically, running crazily into the street. Bang! A truck sped by, hitting her. She was flung like a fallen leaf, spinning in the air before landing on the ground. Blood stained the earth red. A month later, Alice called me. How's Rocky Hailey doing? She didn't make it. She passed away last night. Now there's no one to handle her body. Ha ha ha, that's so tragic. What about her family? Alice's enchanting laughter echoed through the phone. Their house was foreclosed by the bank. They sold their old place long ago. The whole family is living on welfare. Who's going to take care of her body? I couldn't help but smile too. Enough about me, let's talk about your little boy toy Tony. How's he doing? Things are going well. He had a sex reassignment surgery in Thailand, and I sold into a Ladyboy cabaret. Who knows, he might become a drag queen in the future. That's definitely not happening. I flatly denied. Why not? Alice asked with curiosity. Because he's a muscle guy. How can he look good as a ladyboy? To be a queen, he'd have to strip off a layer of skin. That sounds quite painful. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Alice's melodious laughter came through the line. Seriously, Rocky, I made some money selling Tony, and I'm planning to invest in a software company that specializes in monitoring cheating couples. Are you interested in joining? Sure, it's right up my alley, ha ha ha. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.